Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hoops After Dark. I am one of your hosts, Dre Henderson. Joined with me, as always, is three of the smartest minds in sports that I've ever been around. On my bottom, you have Cooper, Mike Coop. Say what up to the people.
What's up?
We also have my boy Sam, one of the smartest analysts you'll ever meet.
What's up, guys?
And making
Number one
his
Alabama hater.
the number one Alabama hater. Holy smokes. And joining us for first episode
First
is
live recording, yeah.
Yeah, buddy, is my boy Mark Kruthaupt. Everybody say what's up to the people. Mark?
What's up, y'all? How we doing tonight?
All right, tonight's episode is going to go a little bit like this. We are going to recap what I believe to be is a wild tournament. We're going to talk winners, losers, what was the best game that you watched, and we're also going to be going over the Final Four predictions and letting you guys know what we think about that. I think it's going to be some incredible basketball. We are also going to be talking about a little about the NBA, the Vegas expansion, Go Vegas. And we are also going to be talking about the NBA awards this season. Who deserves what award? Can't wait for that topic. But let's jump right on into it, guys. Let's go into one of the best tournaments. I don't know. It's always good for me every year. But let's go into the NCAA tournament. Anybody want to kick us off and what they thought? Who's a winner and a loser so far in the NCAA? Hit me.
I'm glad to start off. If I'm going to talk winners real quick, it's pretty obvious. Obviously, all the teams that made the Final Four are going to be what we consider like a winner. My other winner, aside from those obvious teams, is Iowa. Iowa had a great run. Ben McCollum and Bennett Sturts showed they're just as good of a player head coach duo as you'll ever find in college basketball history. They've been together multiple years, different schools, and they went on a little run. They ran into Illinois, who, if we're being honest, Illinois has probably been the third best team this entire tournament. They've really, really turned it on. They had the potential all year, and they were always highly rated, but man, they really turned it on. And I think Iowa just ran into a great team, but they had a really good run as a 9 seed, really proved what kind of program Ben McCollum is capable of building. And little fact about Iowa only had one player that was offered a high major scholarship after high school.
Insane.
And he got to an Elite Eight with that team. So shout out Ben McCollum in Iowa. I don't know if he's going to be moving on or if he to one of the big jobs that's going to open or if he's going to stay there and build a program. But wherever he is, I do not want to be the team that has to play him consistently. I don't know what he'll look like exactly without Bennett Sturts, but I'm sure still great because he's a great coach.
Couldn't agree more with you, brother. Iowa had a tremendous run, and it just shows that in NCAA and college basketball, coaching really does matter. Having a coach who knows what the heck they're doing, you can see all of the teams that are left all have elite coaches, and those coaches are getting those guys to be playing high level basketball. And it was no different with Iowa, and they just had a wonderful tournament and ran into a buzzsaw. I told you guys that Illini team, the team of foreigners, and Peja Stojakovic's son is just a juggernaut. And I don't even think Stojakovic is the best player. They have multiple bigs. Their point guard, who's a freshman, holy smokes. Did you see that Penny Hardaway movie hit on that dude? Poor guy.
Yeah.
And made him touch earth, and then he hit the three.
Mhm.
That's just insane. The way that they're rolling right now, it is really hard to bet against the Illini, but they're getting ready to run into a UConn team who is right.
So when you think UConn's dead, man, they come out of nowhere. So no one was giving them a chance this year, which is insane.
It's the Hurley effect, man. That dude is
Yeah.
crazy. That dude is insane.
Yeah.
Hurley is just, I don't think he gets enough love for what he does. I truly don't. I think we talk a lot about Izzos and the Patinos and everything, and we just skip over a guy like Hurley.
I don't know
I mean,
if
if
that's
you really
true
think about
anymore.
it, that might that's if he wins it this year, that's 3 and 4 years, right?
Yeah.
He's probably up there arguably with being one of the best coaches of all time, just record and statistically wise at this point.
And
Yeah.
he's got plenty more years to coach. He'll be right up there with Patino and Izzo. In 10, 20 years, he's going to be the name we think of first, possibly.
You guys think he makes the jump to the NBA? I mean, there was so
No.
much speculation already this past year. Some team is going to throw enough money at him, I think, that eventually he makes the jump to the NBA.
As
I
with
think
any
he's more
college coach,
likely to go to North
possibly.
Carolina than he
Yeah.
is the NBA.
It's always possible with any high-level college coach, but with a guy like Danny Hurley who is intense, it seems like do you see him crying when Alex Caravan came out for senior night? Like
Emotional.
yeah, he seems like an intense asshole sometimes. He also seems like he really cares about developing these young guys.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that's just more built for a college level from what I see. I wouldn't be surprised if he ever tries out the NBA or even be surprised if he's a good coach in the NBA. But I think he's at UConn, a blue blood program. He's just where he wants to be. The only other place up would be in North Carolina. And I think that he is pretty set in where he is right now, unless somebody comes with a significant money investment.
I think it has to be significant. If we're talking big money dollars, you got to throw him something that it matters. But like you
Certain
said,
NBA
Sam,
expansion team, perhaps.
hey, down for it. But like Sam said, I don't know if his coaching style will translate to the NBA, and that's not a knock on him. Some guys are just built to coach college basketball, and like his intensity, dudes make $30 million a year. You think they're gonna listen to somebody who's just intense as Hurley? I don't know. I haven't seen it. You got to be a different kind of breed to coach the NBA. And how he coaches, I think he's just right where he needs to be, right at UConn. I don't see him leaving because they're paying this man. I promise you, they're paying him enough money. I promise you. But
I can keep going with now that we talked about Iowa and kind of UConn, I kind of do want to talk about the other three teams that did make the Final Four. Starting with Illinois, they had the second highest offensive rating in the country. They're barely edged out by Purdue, which Purdue had the number one point guard in college basketball history at this point in terms of assists. Also, quick shout out to Purdue, another great season. I know it wasn't what they wanted, preseason number one and all, but Braden Smith got the record. Those seniors had a good lost tournament run, very solid all-time team. But Illinois, I mean, their offense was potent all year. I watched them win by 40 or 50 versus Mizzou in St. Louis. That's when my friends introduced me to Keaton Wagler, and we were talking about how he wasn't really expected to play, and then he played early in the season, and Brad Underwood was like, holy shit, who is this kid? He only had one other high major offer to Minnesota, and he's going to be an NBA lottery pick. Not only did they already was supposed to have a good team, bringing in the Ivasic, his brother from Arkansas, so they had two giant rim protectors that have a lot of skill. Bringing in Andre Stojakovic, who was very good at Cal last year, returning Kylan Boswell, returning Ben Hummerkaus, and they added Keaton Wagler to it. They added added pieces to it. Mirkovic, another freshman, and this team always had the offense. And they had defensive pieces like we talked about. Colin Boswell, Jake Davis, Ben Hummerkaus, Andre Stojakovic was apparently one of either the defensive player of the year or one of the finalists for defensive player of the year in the Big Ten. They have that size on the back end, and the defense hadn't fully gelled, and now it has. And I really do believe they've been the third best and third most impressive team in this tournament, behind the obvious in Michigan and Arizona, who have been unbelievable. But Illinois deserves to be in this Final Four spot. Has honestly been a little underrated, and if they're playing like this,
good luck.
Good luck, but I think the issue is the other two teams that made it as well. On this other side of the bracket, it's kind of a shame that Michigan and Arizona are going to play each other in a Final Four game instead of the championship game, because I easily think that game is the national championship.
Yeah, you're right. This is probably the national championship for sure.
Yeah.
Whoever comes out of this game is going to be 5-6 point favorites at the least against whoever they play in the final.
Yeah.
How did Illinois do against Michigan this year? Did they split?
Michigan came into Champaign to the State Farm Center and beat the dog crap out of Illinois in front of a home crowd when Illinois was playing hot.
Yeah.
I remember my friends, my dad, they were all excited for the game, and Michigan came in and tore them open. The problem is with this year is that there's been, people will argue 3 or maybe 4 teams. There's been 2 teams the whole year. It's Michigan and it's Arizona. It's the Wolverines and the Wildcats. It always has been, it always will be. It's the same as I felt about UConn in 2023 when they were just not losing games. 15-point win every game. Didn't matter. There's 2 of them this year. There's nothing you can do. Barring injuries, there's nothing that teams have been able to do except for in a couple random games this year where they lost to also other contending teams. I mean, Michigan's one of their losses to Duke. The other one is to Michigan State, maybe. Like, it's unbelievable, and I really do think that's a national championship game, and I think that's going to be one of the best college basketball games of all time, possibly.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Would you say the loser of that game gets the North Carolina job between Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd?
Maybe for Lloyd. I don't think so for Dusty.
I wouldn't be. I actually do. Yeah, I would say that. Yep. I think one of them is going to get it. And I think whoever loses, because the other one wins a natty and obviously stays, I think there's a good chance of that. Boy, the Dusty May train has been. He took Florida Atlantic to a Final Four, went to Michigan, brought in some guys, and he's been on as hot of a run as we've seen of a coach. But I mean, so has Ben McCollum, so many other guys. But I really think that between Dusty and Tommy Lloyd in that situation, yeah, there's a good chance that one of them takes that North Carolina job.
Well, while we get Sam back,
Sam, we lost you there for a second.
Yeah,
So
you kind of cut off for a second.
Can you go back to what you were saying?
I do agree. My final point was I do agree with you. One of those teams is going to win a national championship most likely, and the one that gets disappointed is going to not be disappointed for long because Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Roy Williams, and the might of the North Carolina basketball program will be behind them, and they will be wearing powder blue on the sideline the next season.
That's a tough one.
who is your guys?
What about you, Mark?
For what? My big
For,
loser?
who do you think is winner or loser? Yeah.
Probably my big loser of the tournament. I have to go with Houston, man. I mean, this is, again, a historic defense. Their offense was scoring a little bit more than they have in years past. So that was always my big knock against Houston, right? Like, always great defenses, but the offense can't keep up. So when you run into a good offense that can break that defense just a little bit, those teams have always lost in the past, right? That just solely rely on defense. But this team, this is probably their best offensive team that they had in a long time. So, there's already talks about Kelvin Sampson either retiring. I mean, if he wants to stay, who says he doesn't get another big job, right? If one of these guys, say from Michigan or U of A, Kelvin Sampson's a really attractive name to fill one of those jobs. So I think this is just one of those losses for Houston that, I think they're still going to be a good team, but I think this is really going to set them back because this is the best team they've had in a long time. And man, like we all acknowledge that Illinois they had an awesome tournament or having an awesome tournament, but to put up 55 points and just flame out the way they did, it's going to be rough. They're probably going to have a down season, in my opinion, next year.
In Houston.
I couldn't agree more.
In Houston.
They lost in Texas, and that's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 miles from campus. Listen, University of Missouri played a game and lost their game in St. Louis. Not as close as 2 miles from campus, but same thing. But they weren't a contender. Houston was a contender and had, for the second weekend, 2 games at home. And they got, it wasn't a close game. They kind of got dog walked.
They got dog walked.
I do agree that they were one of the losers. One of my other losers, my only other loser, because I think any team that gets to this weekend is pretty good. And I think the teams that lost for the most part were, like Tennessee, they had a good run, but they probably didn't have enough to really make a run at Arizona they played, right?
Yeah.
But my other loser is, we kind of talked about it already, but Duke. I mean, 2 years in a row that the Blue Devils have, last year was in the Final Four, this year was in the Elite Eight. Last year was worse. They had 2 Rookie of the Year candidates, 2 guys that look like they're going to be perennial all-stars in the NBA, in Colin Knippel and Cooper Flagg, and a 12-point lead with 2 minutes left, and gave that up to Houston.
Yeah.
Yep.
That game was nuts.
This year they were battling. Amazing. Yeah, it was.
And it's not even the fact that Duke is losing. It's the fashion and how they're losing. That really matters when you want to talk about, because I can lose a game, no problem. I have no problem losing, but the how you lose really matters to me.
Yeah.
And
so
you had
the last 5 games that Duke has lost. 2022 Final Four was Coach K's last game that he coached, and that was the North Carolina in the final against UNC. 23 they lost to Tennessee in the round of 32 by 13. 2024 they lost in the Elite Eight to NC State by 9. 2025 they led by 9 in that game. 2025 led by as many as 14 against Houston and lost. 2026 they led by as many as 19 and lost to UConn.
Listen,
and that
how
game
like I said,
that was their biggest lead too. Was late in that game. It wasn't
Mhm.
like they were up 14 in the first half. They were up like
No,
14 with like 4 minutes to go.
they were
I remember
completely
I had money
dominating
on
the game.
Houston on that game. And I was like, I'm going to throw my ticket away on this one. I could not believe that game.
How you lose truly matters in the NCAA. I'm not saying John Shire's in trouble, but he might want to be careful because next year, like, you know what I mean? Like, the expectations for Duke are high every single year, and they always have a good team. They literally have they had a lottery pick on their team. They have 2 lottery picks on their team this year.
Yeah.
And it's never a question of talent. It's always a question of finishing the game. And Duke hasn't been able to finish the game in a few years. And that's just becoming a lightweight concern for mine.
Yeah. And how much of it, seems to be, it's only been 2 years, but it is seeming a little bit of a pattern with John Shire. But he's also won big games in the regular season. So I don't know. There's also he could have called the timeout, true. But when you have a guy get the ball near the half court line with 10 seconds left, 2-point lead, that guy could throw the ball up in the air as high as he could.
Yeah.
And that would have been a better decision than trying to throw the pass that he did. He could have tried to throw a bounce pass. He could have just held the ball. He could have held the ball and called
Over
timeout himself.
6'7", and their arms are extended. You're trying to throw that in the middle of a trap, in the middle of the court. That never is going to work.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, my thing is, if I see Cam Boozer get knocked the way that he did before the ball even went to his brother, you call a timeout. You don't let Cam Boozer dribble the ball like that.
No.
I'm calling it because especially he looked back to throw it across underneath his basket too. Like that's a cardinal sin in basketball. You never throw it across the court underneath the rim like that when they're pressing. No way. So Shire should. I mean, I agree with all you guys. Shire should have called a timeout at that point. But even Caden Boozer, if you look, there's a video on Twitter that shows like Shire's reaction to the whole play. He's jumping up and down. You're not jumping up and down, but he's like signaling for Caden Boozer to throw the ball in the front court because there is nobody back. All 5 guys for UConn were in the front court. So it's like either call a timeout or just throw a ball into basically a Hail Mary into the stands and make him go 94 feet.
Yeah.
At that point. Like
any choice but what he did would have been better. Like
that's just me.
It was only 10 seconds left. They didn't even have to really get it across the half line. They could have sat in that back and
No. They had enough time. They could have took a 10-second violation.
Caden Boozer could have looked at his dad in the crowd, threw him a chest pass, and it would have actually been a better choice. What can you do?
A better decision.
Can we talk about other than the turnover in Shire? Can we talk about the balls on that kid to take that 35-footer?
Dude.
He was 0 for 4 from 3 before he took it. Brylan Mullins, like he was 0 for 4 from 3 and 3 per freshman too. Have the balls to pull that 3 and it was not like it just rung around and went in. That was all net.
It was draws. It was
sounded
shoot, and like you see his reaction. He was like, "Did that actually go in?" Even he was shocked that how beautiful of a shot that was. I mean, as much as I dislike UConn as a Xavier fan, I mean, what a crazy awesome ending to that game. I mean, for Duke fans, it's absolutely devastating. For UConn fans, I mean, maybe even outside or past for freaking national title wins. I mean, what win is going to be more exhilarating than that one to send them to the Final Four? I mean, it's going to be hard to beat even their national title wins. Like that moment right there is insane.
I couldn't agree more.
I don't want to jump the gun a little bit, but it kind of leads to a question I was going to ask about the Final Four. Is that a letdown spot for UConn? You have all the adrenaline run. I know it's a week to prepare, and you give Hurley plenty of time to prepare. But just off of what happened, is that a potential letdown spot for UConn against the very good Illinois team?
I think that's a great question. I think if this was another team, that didn't have someone as experienced as, Alex Caravan, that dude seems like he's been there for almost 5 years now. He's been there for a minute. So they have good veteran leadership. As much as we hate to admit it, Dan Hurley's probably the best coach in basketball. I think they're too well coached and have too much veteran leadership on that team to, sleepwalk into this game and have that adrenaline dump kind of really take it out of them. If it was not a week away, Coop, then yeah, that would probably play a little bit more of a factor. But I think a week to reset will really help them a lot.
I personally, if we're going to be honest here, I'm not saying that it would be a letdown spot. I think it's more so we got to give a lot of credit. We got to give credit to Illinois. Illinois could beat this team with or without the letdown.
Yeah, no doubt.
Illinois is that good. So I think it's more so of let's just be honest with ourselves, and this is going to be a good game too. I
Yeah.
actually disagree with you guys that whoever wins that Michigan Arizona game wins the Natty. I actually disagree. I really do, because Illinois and UConn have all the capabilities in the world to beat Michigan and Arizona. Because Michigan, whether they are explosive as heck, but if that three is not falling, they go through lulls of offensive drown, like lulls. A lot of time where they don't score for a couple minutes, and that is not a good formula to win a Natty. Forget the Natty. That's not a good formula to beat Arizona. It's just not. Arizona has all those athletes. They also have shooters. They also have size. So if you have one of those lulls, Michigan, guess what? You low key could lose that game by 15 points. But in reality, Michigan has been too good, too solid. Bigs have been playing amazing. And you just have to call a spade at the end of the day. All four of these teams have legit claims to winning a natty. I really believe that.
So I want to bring it back to real quick to UConn as a winner and talk about UConn versus Illinois. It definitely could be a letdown spot. I do agree that it definitely could end up like that. Like Illinois could just run all over them. I like to point out kind of how bad UConn played today, and they still pulled out a win. Alex Caravan didn't have a point until that huge three to like cut the lead. He didn't have a point in the game, and like they were not shooting well. And I think that's kind of why UConn, aside from making the Final Four, is a winner, because third Final Four in 4 years. The championship DNA built into this program where they just win and they're relentless. It's built by Danny Hurley, exemplified by Alex Caravan as his captain. Braylon Mullins hit one of the all-time March Madness shots. That shot is going to be shown with the Luke May shot, with the Jenkins shot to win the tournament for Villanova. Like, that's going to be shown in the highlight tape for years to come. And it says almost more about who they are as a team with how bad they played today. So it's hard for me to think that they're going to have it's hard for me to think that they're going to have a letdown game versus Illinois. Illinois could still play a really great game and beat them, and they could like lose by 15, but I don't think it'll be a letdown game, because no matter what, that team plays hard and they play as good. They get open shots. Like, it's just today they didn't fall and they still managed to find a way to win. So I don't think it'll be a letdown game. I do agree with you, Dre, that all these teams left, they're Final Four teams, they can all win the tournament. My only thing is when you're getting the kind of consistency out of college-age kids
Dude,
that Michigan and Arizona are all season, that's when I'm like, truly like, this team, I'm not going to bet against this team. But I do agree that any team could go in and win this at this point. Obviously, it's a Final Four in Indianapolis. Michigan's a drivable distance. Illinois is a drivable distance. Arizona, the fans will still be there, of course.
Yeah.
UConn, the
yeah, they
fans will
taking
still
that
be there.
flight.
Yeah, Illinois fans are driving that 2 hours. They'll be right there. So I think it's going to be a great Final Four. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up on what I thought about UConn. And I think that was the most impressive part of today, was that they were not scoring well. They weren't playing well. And they still managed to find a way to win. And I think that says a lot about Danny Hurley in this program and why they can beat Illinois and why they still really do have a chance. Because the other three teams have been the best teams in this tournament. UConn has not.
No, they haven't.
But the way they play and the way they're coached allow them to be here and allow them to possibly win 2 more games and take home a third natty in 4 years, which would be incredible.
I couldn't agree more. And just to bring it back to who I also thought was a winner in this tournament, even though they didn't make it very far, Nebraska. I thought Nebraska was sensational in this tournament. And unfortunately, they just who they run into? Iowa? They ran into Iowa, who was just on a heater. And in the tournament, you could really get got at any time. No matter how good of a team you are, no matter how good your coach, you could just get got at any time. And I thought Nebraska played good enough to win that game against Iowa. It's just that, sometimes the ball doesn't go your way. But to get their first tournament win, was that their first tournament win?
Ever.
Yep.
And then they got their second ever.
Mhm. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you've already made history in your school. And that's something you can hang your hat on. So I don't think if there was any team that got eliminated early to hang their heads low, I don't think Nebraska was one of them. They should hold their heads very high. They had a good season and a good tournament, in my opinion. You ran into Iowa, who was on that Cinderella. I don't even want to call it a Cinderella run, because they were just so well coached and just so they stayed patient. They didn't force it too much, and they just when they had to pull it out, they did. When they had to go speed, they did. And Iowa wasn't a team with size, so they weren't killing you inside. They weren't killing you with the bigs or anything like that. They were just killing you with coaching and one star. That's it. And so shout out Nebraska. Great tournament. Just, sometimes it just sucks.
I have one more winner, and that winner is us, the people.
Yes.
This has been a really good tournament, although a lot of the games haven't been as close as we wanted them to be. Michigan and Arizona dominated their matchups again today.
Yeah.
But the final part of the regional part of March Madness before we get to the Final Four, before all four teams go to one city, that final game we were given an all-time classic. And I think that's what made us winners. Every tournament's a win no matter how the tournament goes, but I know it's been a little chalky the past 2 years, and even though it was Duke and UConn, the 1 and 2 seed in that region, them giving us that game and that ending is what was the cherry on top of what I think was not so many a few close, really good games this tournament, but a lot of blowouts. But that to end it, that was pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Cube, do you have one? I have one more, and then we can move on. I mean, how do we not call the University of Texas a winner in this thing?
I knew it was coming. Hook 'em.
And listen, I'm a huge Texas fan when it comes to football. Hook 'em. But because Sean Miller left Xavier to go to Texas, yeah, I'm a big Texas basketball hater. But I mean, dude, for them to go through the first four, for them to get to the Sweet 16, and then have a lead late in that game and only lose to
They had a
Purdue
shot
by
to win that
2,
game for sure.
honestly shouldn't. I know we view them as winners. I know Texas probably sees it as a missed opportunity, which at the end of the day, you lose by 2. It is a missed opportunity. There's things in that game that could have went their way that they win that game and, they make it to the Elite 8. But in his first year and, for what the expectation was with him coming over, them getting an 11 seed, and then, like I said, getting to the Sweet 16 and losing by 2 to go to the Elite 8, pretty hard to say that Texas was not a winner in this tournament.
I think, and considering that especially me included, thought that Texas was going to be out after their matchup with BYU in the first round. I truly thought that AJ Devonta was going to win a game simply because his name was AJ. But I just found out that 35 points in a game does not equate to a win, because outside of that 35 points, they got absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I know BYU's missing their second best player, but in that moment, someone has to step up and help AJ. He was splitting double team after double team after double team after double team. And Sean Miller, he gave Devonta all of his credit. I just played the number 1 pick in the draft. So I don't think there's any more conversation about who's the number 1 pick in the draft, because Devonta really did show that you could tailor a whole defense towards him. He's still going to get his. That was awesome. So yeah, I agree with you, Mark. Texas was absolutely a winner in this tournament, even though they did lose to go to the Elite 8. Couldn't agree more. Hook 'em.
I agree too.
All right, moving on, boys, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in your guys' opinion, let's go back and refresh everyone's memories of some of the best games over the weekend. What are you guys' thoughts?
I think the obvious one we talked about is UConn Duke. We've already kind of covered it, but I think it's going to be an all-time great tournament game, all-time great finish to a game.
St. John's Duke
exactly
was
what college
amazing.
basketball brings us, the chaos.
Yeah.
St. John's Duke was good.
That St. John's game
Purdue,
had me
Texas.
sick. Purdue, Texas was awesome. Fantastic game. You get all those elements mixed up into one, where you got the excitement of the tournament. Texas has, in a lot of people's minds, no business being in that game. And here they are in that game with a shot to win, playing against a point guard who, in a lot of people's opinion, that's the best point guard that's come through college, because he could dish out an assist like no other. Braden Smith is his name?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just sometimes there's always one or two things that you could have done differently to make that game flip to your side, like you said, Mark. But Texas, Purdue, fantastic watch. Couldn't agree more.
I mean, I know, Sam, you probably don't want to give them the credit, but Alabama, man, they hung tough with Michigan for the most part. Until the end of that game,
Yeah.
I know they won by 13, but that game was a lot closer than that 13
Yeah.
for Jordan.
No, Alabama played so they ended up not having the problems that they've had in tournaments recently, even with especially without Aiden Holloway, which makes it more impressive, where they have a game, which is kind of how they play the regular season too, where because you have to win 6 games in a row to win this whole thing. They eventually have a game where it just goes out, and they didn't really have that this time. The problem this time was the same problem that SLU ran into, the same problem that every team that's played Arizona and Michigan ran into, which is you're playing a team that is just better, and you can't do anything about it. There's no one in college basketball that's been able to do anything about it. So, but yes, Alabama and actually ended up having a really good showing this tournament.
We caught about one word of that, Sam.
I got no words out of that, Sam. I
No
got no
words
words
out
out
of
of
it.
that.
This hotel's killing me. Okay. Alabama ended up having a good tournament,
They did, yeah.
and Michigan was just a better team. And they've been a better team than every team they played. So I'm excited to see if Nate Oates can actually start to have more consistency in his teams because they've been very good. The problem is every 4th game of the year, it's a 0.
Yeah.
And if he can turn those games into 50% or 70%, then he has really built a juggernaut.
I want to talk about a game that wasn't this weekend, but what, in my opinion, was the best game that I sat down and watched for 40 minutes straight. Do y'all remember High Point versus Arkansas?
Yep.
What a display of point guardsmanship. Who the heck is this Rob Martin dude from High Point coming up in there giving Darius Acup 30? Who does he think he is? But it was just the level of Arkansas easily could have lost that game and lost that game by a couple possessions because Rob Martin was playing out of his mind. And maybe that's how he really plays. But
Can I say this though? Because after that game, I texted you guys and I said, anyone that can play any shred of defense is going to beat Arkansas. And I don't want to take away that performance from that kid because, you know, that was awesome to watch. He was a lot of fun.
So good.
He couldn't miss. But
Fastest
the
first step I've
defensive
seen in a long
display
time.
by Arkansas, yeah, like I've never heard of the kid until then, right? Like, that was the most pathetic display of defense I have ever seen from a high major school against, you know, a mid major. And again, awesome that High Point scored the way they did and how they played. But that was, if I'm an Arkansas fan, I'm embarrassed that even happened. That was bad. And if I'm a NBA team looking at that defensive, you know, just there was no effort on A-Cup's part whatsoever. I'm sorry. Like, it was embarrassing to watch.
You're not going to get much of an argument out of me on that one, Mark, because it showed in Arkansas's next game. The second they went up against anybody who was willing to play some defense, look here. They went through dry spells. Darius Acup started looking like he was hurt, like he was tired.
Yep.
And don't let him scoring 30 points in that game fool you. That game was over a long time before Acup got those buckets. That game was donezo.
I mean, and as good as Arizona is, I mean, giving up 109 points in the Sweet
insane.
16, you're a Sweet 16 team giving up 109. Like, I'm sorry, you don't belong there. You do not belong.
Didn't they give up over 80 to High Point?
They did.
They gave up almost.
Yeah,
they gave up over 80 points to High Point.
Yep.
So you
like
knew
79.
the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. The second somebody buckled down and played some real top-notch defense and made Darius Acup guard, that's where the problems lie for Arkansas. Calipari relied way too much on Darius Acup, and it showed. At the end of the day, if you got to play some defense if you're going to be in this NCAA tournament. You don't got to be the best defensive team, but you for sure got to put in some effort because these guys are coming to play. And then you got your ass whooped by Arizona. So it just showed how first of all, you need a little bit more juice.
Yeah. You have to be able
you got to be able to do both. And that is what Acup's problem will be in the NBA. He's kind of going to remind me a little bit of how teams about like Trae Young, because Trae Young plays no defense, 0. So none whatsoever. So now you're going to have to tailor your team and surround Acup with long, lanky wings who can defend, big dudes who can jump and block shots. And if you're going to do that to center it around one player because one player doesn't play defense, I don't think that's going to be sustainable. And as good as Darius Acup is on offense, because he's a juggernaut on offense, don't get that twisted at all. But in the NBA, you going to have to play some defense because they will put you on an island every single play.
Absolutely.
Every single play.
Yeah. Final 4 picks? Question mark?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm gonna take I'm gonna go with University of Illinois over UConn. I think UConn has been shaky this year despite what they just did. I've been very impressed with Illinois and what they've done this tournament. They have finally put together their defense. Their offense was always good. They're playing close to home. I'm gonna take Illinois in that game.
Illinois is favored by 2, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Illinois is favored
Yeah.
by 2.
Illinois by 2, Michigan by 1 over Arizona.
That's a
the odds
pick 'em.
right now.
That's a pick 'em.
I am going to. I told myself at a bar on the Friday after Thanksgiving that I would not pick against Michigan if they played like this the entire year. Little did I know that Arizona was also going to play like this the entire year.
Come on, Sam, let it out.
My only reason I'm picking against Michigan is going to be that they're missing their backup point guard who had a solid contribution this year. They've really played well without him anyway, but I'll take fully healthy Arizona, and it's going to be a rematch Arizona-Illinois because they played in 2005, right?
Yeah, that was the last time Illy. Yeah.
In the Final Four, and I'm gonna say that the Big Ten continues to still not have a championship despite having an incredible year this year, and I'm gonna take Arizona to win the national championship after what I've seen this tournament. I won't be shocked by any 4 of the 4 teams winning. I will personally probably be rooting for one of Arizona or Illinois. But I think the Wildcats get it done, and then I think Dusty May takes his trajectory from FAU to Michigan to the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I love it. Mark?
As much as we love Illinois, I just think for what we said a little bit earlier about UConn, just the leadership, the coaching, they've been in these spots before as a team, and several players have been on those national title teams. I'm just going to take UConn in a really close game. They're underdogs here. I have them getting 1.5. Love the 1.5. I think UConn can get it done against Illinois. Illinois, awesome team, but I think UConn, just like I said, the coaching, the veteran leadership on that team can get it done. U of A was my pick at the beginning of the tournament. I'm not going to change that now. Again, I think this is I think whoever wins this game wins the national title. So I'm going to take U of A. They're just too deep. They've been, like you said, Sam, they've been playing this good all year long, and I don't expect it to stop now. And so I am going to take University of Arizona to meet UConn in the final, and I think U of A gets it done. I think U of A still wins the whole thing.
You're not going to get an argument there. Love that. For me, I am with Sam on the Fighting Illini. I just think that team is full of dudes from overseas. They don't know no better, and they've already been playing high-level basketball probably since they were 15 years old. So I'm going to take the Illini here. I personally think Illinois, they play really solid defense, and Stojakovic has been locking people up. And let me just tell you something. If you got somebody who's a lockup and a three-point shooter and a driver to the basket, we got a major issue here, Coach. I don't know how
his shot has struggled a little bit despite his last name, but he's been shooting a little bit better the past couple games. But it's the driving of the basket that makes him what he is.
I get that. I really do understand that, Sam. But I look at, sometimes that shot just isn't falling, which I understand. Played basketball, I understand when you go through a cold spell. But I also game recognizes game. And when he finds that jump shot, good luck. I just think there's too many elements of Illinois that we haven't even seen yet. And I think it's going to come out against Hurley and the Huskies. I don't even know that sounds crazy coming out of my head. Hurley and the Huskies, wouldn't be surprised if UConn won this game. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to take the Illini here. The team of four on us, I'm telling you. For the other game, I am on Arizona. Again, I've seen Michigan go through a couple of little lulls. And if you have that against Arizona, you find yourself down by 20 real quick, because then they get out on the fast break. They're dunking all over your heads. They're making threes, making you turn the ball over. And then at the end of the day, that screams the problem for Michigan because they don't have their backup point guard. Once their point guard needs rest, they're going to need to bring somebody in to handle the pressure. And I just don't know if Michigan has that. I could be totally wrong. but I will be on the Wildcats here to meet the Illini in the national title game. And I think I'm with you, Mark. If the Illini are playing Arizona, I like Arizona to win the whole thing. Arizona has just been the most consistent team, and they're 100% healthy. I don't know of any. You guys know of any injuries on Arizona? I don't.
No.
Nope.
So yeah, good luck beating a fully healthy team. You need all pieces to beat Arizona. That's just how good they are this year. You need all pieces involved to beat them. So I'm gonna go with the Wildcats to win the whole thing. My original pick was freaking St. John's, and they break my heart every single time. Freaking Rick Pitino, man. I was ready. I was ready to claim my stake as the only person supporting St. John's there, but I digress. So Arizona's for me. Koopa.
Coop, we're final 4
I'm-
picks, brother.
I'm gonna ride the UConn wave. I think they ride the moment. I think, like we've talked about, it's not gonna be a letdown spot. I think that's gonna be UConn's gonna take care of business against Illinois, and I think Arizona is gonna take care of business against Michigan. I think Arizona's has a good mix of young, old. They're deeper. I know Michigan has been a wagon all season, but I like this Arizona team. But I'm gonna take UConn to beat Arizona in the national championship. There has not been a West Coast national champion in 25 years, and I think that continues this year. I just think if UConn's gonna get there, they're gonna win it.
That's a stat right there.
Wow.
Like it.
So we have 2 U of A's. Who did you pick, Sam?
I picked Arizona as well.
So 3 Arizonas,
And a
1
UConn.
UConn.
The great part about this whole thing is that any of these teams, so UConn going on a run and winning 3 out of 4, incredible. Arizona
Insane.
winning for the first time in like 25 years and bringing the championship back to the West Coast would be great. Michigan or Illinois finally getting the Big Ten title after what? I think the last Big Ten title was Michigan State in like 2001. So that would be great. Illinois finally getting their first. They have the most wins in NCAA tournament history without a national championship. So it'll be time for the Fighting Illini. And then Michigan, if Dusty May wins the national championship, man, boy, oh boy, that team is going to be good for a long time. And they would, another trophy in the Michigan trophy case, which I'm personally not rooting for at all. But I think the other 3 would be very, very, very fun to see, any of them winning.
Either way, I think we're going to get a great story at the end of the day, which is what you just described. And that's what college hoops is all about, man. You making some history and really cementing yourself, getting that contract extension if you're a coach. We all know Hurley's not going anywhere. Let Dusty win a national title. He ain't going anywhere. Whoever wins that national title, that coach is getting paid. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. That coach is going to get a nice little paycheck. He's going to be able to take his wife out to the beaches and whatnot, and then he's going to be ready to go for another season. And then the NIL, I'm telling you guys, again, the NIL, and we talk about this when we did our initial video, the NIL, in my personal opinion, has just given us all of this, these great games with great players. And I see the downfall in the NIL. However, the uprise in the NIL is giving us some of just the most talented people actually coming to college and going to college. That's what the Illini, they have, I'm telling you, all foreign players. And it's all because of the NIL. And these guys are finally getting a little bread in their pocket. They don't have to walk around broke. And now they're going to be playing some really high level basketball. So
yeah. I'm not pushing back on that because you are totally right about all the foreign players with the NIL and everything, all those opportunities given to them. And there's foreign players on, the other, like a UConn, there's foreign players on Arizona, Michigan as well. The most interesting thing is you're totally right about the NIL, but there's one person that slipped through the cracks, and it's Keaton Wagler. Keaton Wagler doesn't have a big he might now, but he doesn't have a big NIL deal. He's going to be gone. He's going to be in the NBA. In this era of NIL, where you're absolutely correct, it's made the cream rise to the top. Players don't stay in JUCO that are good. Players don't stay at mid-majors that are good. They get moved up. Guys from high school are more heavily scouted, and there's betting wars for the best ones. Keaton Wagler completely fell through the cracks. His own parents,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
His own parents said in an interview, they thought he was good. They thought maybe he was a little under-recruited, but they said, we didn't think he was this good. So even in the era of NIL, you'll still have these guys that fell through the cracks, and he's Illinois' best player. Despite all the guys they have on NIL, despite all the guys that, they transferred in, this freshman that they figured was just an end of the bench, maybe something in the future guy, is now a draft lottery pick and possibly bring them to It's bringing them to their first Final Four in over 20 years, and now might even get them a national championship, depending on how they play.
Man, you pulled out the Penny Hardaway step back, and it was, let me tell you something. Once I saw that, I said, okay, somebody missed the books on that one because that kid should have been way more highly recruited. Maybe, I don't know, but you're absolutely right, Sam. He fell through the cracks, and I just think that kind of player we're not going to see as often.
No.
Because the NIL is it's a bidding war. Everybody's gonna be throwing checkbooks at these guys. And I also think it'll entice a couple of guys who maybe are on that NBA line to go back to college. And then we get more of these great games. Imagine if some of these good guys who are not quite there, but are good go back to college. And now they're going to be making a couple mil and playing these high level games. And then who knows where their development could go from there. So the NILs, in my opinion, is good. I do see the negatives to it because, whatever. But at the end of the day,
it's great. It is great. I used to have this argument with my dad all the time. Like these colleges are making millions and millions and millions of dollars off these kids, and these kids are getting in trouble for selling an autograph for $15 to get an extra meal, right? Like it was crazy. What they have failed to do with the NIL is have any sort of rules or regulations that it went from 0 to 1,000 so
really quick.
And you can see it. I mean, somehow now guys are able to come back from the NBA to play in college. You don't have any, like it's great. Bigger teams, like a BYU getting Devonsa, and they're getting another super high ranked recruit next year. BYU would be out of those bidding wars back in the day. What I hate though is now you can entice a kid with money to leave, a mid-major or a high major, but or lower ranked. Again, I'm going to bring up Xavier, right? Xavier can't compete with the UConns. They can't compete with St. John's for whatever reason, right? If you were to bring back, hey, you have to sit a year once you transfer, I think that would make kids want to stay with their school. At least it would make them think about it. I think that's the biggest thing that we're still going.
What do you think about
transfer portal
fees?
Is completely open. You can transfer anytime, anywhere. You can play for 6 schools. I mean, you can see it now. So many of these kids are getting sued by their previous schools because they're signing deals and then they're just going and going to play for another team and making more money. And they're getting sued to get that, the schools are suing them to get that money back. I think once you start doing transfer fees, you're getting a little bit too much into the professional at that point. I think you still have to have that line between professional sports and college sports. And I think you lose it if you start charging kids to move schools, but there still has to be.
But not school. You wouldn't be charging the kids. What would happen is if North Carolina, they hire a new coach and they take Xavier's best player from this past season.
Right.
They pay Xavier. So Xavier gets to recoup some of the money they paid into that player. They get money for their NIL budget.
Yeah.
How do you
set how much is paid to the school?
I don't know exactly. Probably has to be on the contract whenever they transition NIL and transition and transfer schools.
Yeah.
It's very complicated. It's just the only topic I've heard to make it not, because otherwise, when guys are able to just leave, a Drake or, at Wichita State and go to North Carolina, to Arizona for nothing. And those schools are just like, we lost the money, we lost the player, we're out. That definitely isn't going to work long term. So that's just one of the things I've heard.
And I think that's a great idea because, I mean, Xavier had a single returning player from last year's team. And I get it. Sean Miller leaving, that's a big thing. Dalen Swain followed him to Texas. Ryan Conley goes to Louisville and made Louisville awesome. But there has to be something to de-incentivize every single kid just because they're not getting, all the playing time they want, or they're not making the money. That there has to be something, because yes, it has helped and it's awesome for the players, but I do think it is starting to kill college sports slowly, unfortunately.
I just have one question. Where does BYU get this dang money from? How
The
are they getting the
Mormons are
best
rich.
players?
The Mormons are very, very
That's
wealthy.
Mormon money, brother.
The Mormons do well.
Hey, look at my face. All righty then.
Hey, you know what? Missouri has no money because Stan Kroenke hates the state of Missouri,
Yeah.
and he is our most rich alumni, and he has done nothing but spit in the face of the University of Missouri and the state of Missouri for 10 years. Mark Cuban gives $1 billion to Indiana NIL for their college football team. They spent a lot on basketball, but they weren't very good. But hopefully that turns around with Aaron DeVries at the helm. Some schools are you have your donors and you have an alumni base that's rich, and that is also a huge thing. You're going to see private schools and schools that have, maybe not the craziest history in sports, but with incredibly powerful people that care about their sports program. If they start putting money into it,
Yeah.
it's a problem. Like Arkansas, they've always had a decent basketball program. They have Cal there right now, but their football team hasn't been very good as of late. They just fired Sam Pittman. I kind of liked the guy, but wasn't the most amazing coach. If the Walmart family cares about Arkansas football and suddenly puts $1 billion into Arkansas football in the SEC, that's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting part of NIL is we're going to see schools that might be on the cusp or we don't even know about them. Indiana football,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they make the right coaching hire. They make the right coaching hire. They get a big donor to invest, and then all of a sudden they are the best team.
That's a fun story from NIL though. That's awesome. That Indiana turned from one of the worst programs in college football to the best.
To winning a
That's when
freaking natty.
NIL's working. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's more, I think it is NIL, but I think the most interesting part, the two things that have to happen first, which are incredible things for sports, because it's not just money. Indiana threw a lot of money at their basketball program this year. Didn't really matter. They still have a coach that they can believe in, though. They first had to get the coaching hire correct, and they had to make people believe before any of the other stuff can happen. Those are two things that sports have to have is belief and coaching. And NIL can't solve everything. The money can't solve everything. You still need those two core values to get past.
Yeah, 100%.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, let's move on. You guys think anybody's going to retire this year? My personal opinion is nah. There's a lot of unfinished business with Patino. I think Sampson comes back.
Yeah, Samson probably comes back. He was the biggest name that was floated out there this year, as far as
correct. And Houston
Patino
had the
just signed a
perfect
new
storm
deal today too.
Told you, Patino's not going anywhere. And it was the perfect storm for Houston. That's why I think they were a big disappointment this year. Remember we talked about that, guys? It was literally time to rewrite that book, go get back to the national title where we lost by a slim margin last year, and go freaking win it. And if they had done that, then I think Sampson would have retired. But now it's more of we got unfinished business, man. And I got NIL money. Let's go replace. They're going to probably lose Fleming. You think Fleming comes back?
I think he's going to the NBA. This freshman class is insane, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them decide to stay.
Look, this is one of the better freshman class I've ever seen. Like, there's like 4 or 5 guys who I think are actually going to like legit stick in the NBA and be impact players right away the second they are drafted.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, this is where the college basketball is getting to that upper echelon, because now we're getting that high level basketball. We're starting to see the cream rise to the top, like you said, Sam. And it's just creating good TV at the end of the day. So I think the true winners are us at the end of it all. So
do we think? So you guys don't really think anybody's leaving? Are we operating under the assumption that Bill Self is leaving Kansas because of his comments after the Kansas Jayhawks lost?
I can't even lie to you. Haven't even been thinking about Bill Self. I just forgot all about Kansas because they
forgot he's leaving.
They are one of the teams that actually, you know what? Let's go back. That's a losing team. That's a loss. Kansas I thought they had pieces to really do well in this tournament. I really did. And they had one of the best players in the country in Darren Peterson. So I'm going to digress on Kansas. I truly forgot all about them just until you brought them up, Sam. So now that you have said that, yeah, Bill Self, the way he was talking, it sounds like he's done. Sounds like he's ready to move on.
He was having, well, it's kind of not super disclosed, but seemed like health problems during the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take this moment to apologize to all the Illinois fans, my friends that listened to the episode where I talked out it would be a little funny if Brad Underwood left Illinois and the second time an Illinois coach screwed over their team to go to Kansas. That was not funny. I apologize. And also, I don't think for the record that Brad Underwood's leaving. It was just a little joke, but I'm sorry.
If he does, you guys know who's to blame.
If he does, I don't know if I can go home. I might have to stay in Arizona.
You might want to just stay in Yuma.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be welcome back in my hometown. So what about, Izzo's getting a little older. I can see him coming back. Rick Barnes still hasn't made that coveted Final Four. Once again, got close, had a good run. Tennessee, they haven't made the Final Four, but they've been out of the first weekend for like 4 or 5 years in a row or something at this point. But, there's several other guys that might consider it, but it kind of seems like what you said, aside from Bill Self, everybody was kind of talking about how they feel like they left something on the table. And with competitors like this, they don't like to leave until the game makes them.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it too, the teams that are left right now, most of those, besides Illinois, and no shot at Illinois at all, like UConn is that final job that you take. Michigan is that final job that you take. Arizona.
I don't know if in basketball Michigan's the final job you take.
I mean, like
Michigan's a great job.
Yeah.
But like, I think there are certain levels above Michigan where Arizona, North Carolina, Duke, Kansas come in. But yes, I agree.
Yeah, but like you said though, there's probably like 4 schools, that like you would leave Michigan for. And yeah, I mean UNC maybe, but he's got such a good
They got that money. They got money.
Yeah,
they got money on
set up right now.
UNC not only has money, UNC has a history. They have money. They have rich alumni. They also have a drive to. Something needs to break for them because they hired. I'm a Patriots fan. When they hired Bill Belichick, and it was a disaster. It's such a disaster that they didn't even post about Drake May because Drake May was on the Patriots and because of the Bill Belichick Patriot stuff. Just complete mess, a lot of weirdness there. And UNC, we all know, is a basketball school. Hubert Davis was within the family. Roy Williams picked him, and it did not work out. They need to get this hire right. They are desperate to return to grace and glory in the college basketball landscape so they can forget and continue to not care about their football program that they were trying to be like, oh, I guess we'll lean into football. No, it did not work out. And I think that they are desperate to get this right and need to get this right to avoid falling into a place that, almost like a Florida State, a program that, used to be considered possibly a blue blood in a sport who's kind of fallen off. I can't imagine North Carolina not as a blue blood, but if this happens for 15 years.
Yeah, you're right.
Forget 15 years. How about 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
North Carolina is used to success, and that's all they have. That's all they're yearning for. Anything less than an Elite 8 seems like a failure season for them. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you're absolutely correct. They need to get this coaching hire right. But how many coaches are out there for them to really replace this, this blue blood program?
That's where somebody like Dusty May is an actual possible hire because the only jobs he'd leave for is North Carolina.
That powder blue looks good on anybody too. Dang.
It does.
It's a good color. Such a good color.
Especially cream avila.
Oh man. If they would give him another year of college, if for some reason some North Carolina judge pulls some ruling and says, yeah, he can play another year, and him and Josh Schertz go to North Carolina and he puts back on the powder blue. The powder blue he was in originally at Indiana State also looked good. Go Sycamores, Larry Bird's team, it looked good. But the North Carolina powder blue.
It's legendary. It's legendary. But wait a minute. He got smoked in that Michigan game, though.
He looked like shit in that Michigan.
Got his ass torched in that Michigan game.
But they didn't play bad as a team.
Oh, they didn't.
St. Louis didn't play that bad. Michigan was just so much better.
Yeah,
they were just pulling his ass out, making him play defense against their bigs. And too fast, too athletic. They were blowing right by that guy. So as much as I respect his talent, because I really do, you guys put me on to that guy. I was like, oh shoot.
He's fun to watch when he doesn't have to defend a 7'2" athletic big. Yeah, he's
who
really
can dribble and put the ball on the floor.
Yeah.
To be fair, how many of those matchups are you going to get a year? Like 2?
2, 3 at
Yeah.
most.
In college, yeah.
But in the
In
NBA, you
college.
gotta go against Wemby and
Could you
Jokic.
imagine
Like
him going against Wemby?
Wemby would eat it. But you know what? Wemby will eat up a lot of dudes today,
Anyone.
man. He is so good. He's an alien. I don't know where he was dropped. He was dropped from the sky. It's insane how good he is.
Speaking of the NBA, so you two are both also from Vegas. Me and Mike talked about this. We were trying to name the Vegas expansion. We all know what the Seattle expansion will be. It will be the
Supersonics.
Supersonics or just
Yep.
the Sonics, but it should be the Supersonics. They're going to get the Seattle history back. We're all excited for that. Just a city that deserves the NBA, Seattle. Vegas finally is completing the big four sports in getting an NBA team. The Aces is a name that they could have had that's been taken by the WNBA team. The Kings is already a name within the NBA in Sacramento. What do you guys as Vegas livers?
You're not gonna call them the Queens.
Not going to call them the Queens. There's tons of other names that have been tossed out jokingly or not jokingly that could be the name, but would also bring up a lot of issues. So what do you guys actually think could be the name of the Vegas expansion NBA team?
Dude,
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because they have they got the Golden Knights, which is that's the coldest name in NHL. I don't care what anyone says. Fight with the wall.
I
And
hate our name. I
I'm a
love our
Bruce guy
team.
myself,
piss
so,
off,
you know.
Mark.
I've always
Piss
hated our
off,
name.
Mark. The Vegas Golden Knights. Like, get out of here, dude. We got the coldest jersey. I digress. I'm not getting into this with you. I truly hope Vegas finds a way to stick to like that. What's our theme around town? Like the little like gambling and all that good stuff. I don't want to promote gambling because that kind of is weird. But
And I don't-
at the
you
same
can't
time,
name
I
them-
know this is
You can't name them the Vegas Gamblers either. Like, you can't do it.
no, you can't name them the gamblers. That's not going to sit right with the children. We trying to reach a whole different level of people out
It's
there.
gonna
We
be-
got to give a name.
It's going to be something that no one is even thinking of right now. Cause like you think the dealers, the blackjacks, stuff like that, they, especially with like the WNBA, like no shade, they can get away with the aces, right? Because no one's gambling on.
name.
No, it is. It
I
is.
love that name. I love that name.
No, it is. But I'm saying like with the WNBA, there's not a lot of like gambling and there's not a lot of as much attention that comes along with an NBA team or an NFL team. So you can't have gambling related names to one of the top 5, franchise, right? I think something like, and it won't happen again because just of the negative connotation, like the Las Vegas Mob, the Las Vegas Mafia, something like that, that's what we were built on. But again, just because of the negative connotation to it, I don't think it's going to be anything Vegas related. If I'm being completely honest, it's going to be something
wouldn't surprise
we don't
me.
even think of. That's just
It's-
my take on it.
Mob would be so almost problematic, but it's kind of cool. Like,
that
it would
not be
actually be kind
catchy?
of sick. It would actually be kind of, but you can't do it. But like, that's the first time I've
No,
heard
of
that
course.
one.
Yeah, and let's be
What if
honest.
they name us after something like Area 51? What if they try to name us something like that?
Yeah, I've heard.
the Las Vegas 50.
Mike, did you say Scorpions?
Yeah, I said Scorpions.
I like that.
That's not desert themed. That's good. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
What about the Vegas
Man.
What about the Outlaws or something?
I'd like.
I'd be
that.
cool with the Outlaws. I would be cool with that.
Throw it back to little.
That's my son's flag football team name, the Outlaws. That's crazy.
Our minor league hockey team out here. But let's be honest, Bill Foley is going to try and own the team, and he's going to throw.
No,
the
wait.
Desert
The
Knights or
Outlaws.
something
The
like
Outlaws
that,
were the XF. The Outlaws were the original XFL
That's
team
right.
that was here.
You're right.
The
Yeah, you're right.
Wranglers were the
I was
AA.
thinking. Shoot, bring back the Wranglers, man. The Wranglers.
Shout out to
That would be
Bob.
a fun name.
Well,
Speaking of the XFL, shout out to
before
Battle
the
Next Club.
Wranglers, it was the Thunder.
Yeah, the Battlehawks.
So you can't do the Thunder because of Oklahoma City, but that's what they had before that.
You're right. The Wranglers. I like the Wranglers would be a fun one.
Yeah,
Wranglers
but
are out.
I think you're really right, Mark. I think they're gonna choose a name that none of us are thinking about, like the Desert Tortoises or something. I don't know. And
if we're the Desert Tortoises, man, I'm not cheering for our team. I can't do it.
So
I'm just
I said to Sam when we did our last one was they should do what the Mammoth did, not the hockey club thing, but put like the top 5 and let fans vote,
Yeah.
and then put the top 3, and then whatever wins obviously
Yeah.
goes up for approval. But
Right.
let the fans kind of have a say in what's going on, because obviously Seattle's getting the Supersonics. But like, let us.
If they don't go for the whole Supersonics and give us the history of it, I'm gonna lose it. I want that green though. That whole thing was cool.
I said,
yeah, they have to.
I told Sam, I said the best thing that could happen to them is right after the expansion draft, they sign Kevin Durant and let Kevin Durant retire as a Sonic.
That'd be
That'd
dope.
be badass.
That'd be really
Because that
cool.
was who was drafted him, technically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the
Brady-
name has to be dope, man. It has to go hard. It has to have some like venom behind it. So I think the Scorpions would be dope. Because like the last few expansion teams, I know they're NHL, Mammoth, hard. The Kraken,
That's tough.
hard as fuck.
Tough.
And then I'm sorry, Dre, the Golden Knights. You compare the Golden Knights to those two, bro. It doesn't.
Golden Knights is great
It doesn't
too.
hit the same.
Hey.
It doesn't-
Golden Knights is a great name too. I'm firmly in support of the Golden Knights.
No, hey, they're my team. I till death, all right. But I just
Attaboy.
could not think that those other two names are just so much better.
Speaking of hockey, by the way.
Hey, our
What's
boy
that?
Jack. That's a real Captain America right there,
That is.
Judgy.
Yeah. But hopefully Vegas shoots something. It has to be tough. I couldn't agree with you more, Mark. It has to go. And I like the idea of letting the fans vote for it, because at the end of the day, this is going to be something we wrap our hands around and wrap our hearts around. So
Yeah.
I needed to be able to be like, yeah, I'm a rattlesnake fan. I'm spitballing here, guys. I'm a rattlesnake fan.
I also think that you guys in Vegas and a lot of cities have been way more invested in teams that are kind of new, that you guys get to be a part of the naming and creation process of, rather than like the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders are in Vegas now. How many of you guys feel like a tried and true Raiders fan in comparison to how much you feel like a Golden Knights fan, or how much you're going to feel for this NBA team? The Raiders fans are still coming from Oakland and driving to Vegas.
And I'll never be a Raiders fan. You heard.
And I'm a Cardinals fan, so I should have jumped ship a long time ago. I know, trust me.
Hey, Mark, loyalty's a dying breed in this world, all right?
Hey, you know what? When we're good again, it is going to be the greatest thing in the world. But who knows when that's coming? Arch Manning 2026, baby. That's what I'm hoping right now.
Hey, Sam,
But
what do you mean loyalty? I'm loyal to the best mid team ever. This team is so.
Wasn't a knock on you. Wasn't a knock on you. I was just supporting Mark and saying he hasn't left the Cardinals yet. Don't do it. You got it. You have to stick with the team during the bad times.
We're sticking with them. But no, to your point, man, it's just like,
Hey,
it's
Dre,
the Raiders.
Don't you freaking say it, Cooper. Be quiet.
I'm not going to say happy
Don't you
328.
freaking
I
say
already
it.
said that to you
Don't
yesterday.
you say. I don't want to say. And you said it. And you just said it. No, so now
No,
you just
what
said
I was
it.
gonna say
and
was-
now I'm upset.
What I was going to say was, at least your team does not trade their best players like my favorite teams do. Red
True.
Sox trading Mookie, Devers, the Mavs trading Luka. I just have a terrible luck with fandom at this point.
Right. You're so
At least I mean-
tortured, Coop. The Patriots won 50 Super Bowls since you've been alive. We're bad for 2 years and went right back to the Super Bowl.
They should be at 49 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Now that we're really talking about it. Cooper
Yeah,
texted the
so
whole group
tortured,
chat
Cooper.
yesterday. Yeah, he texted the whole group chat yesterday. I
they'll
want
be
the
just
viewers
fine.
to hear this. No. 28 happy 28-3 day. Listen here, sir. The fact that you're even bringing that day up, that was probably the worst day of my life, all things considering. It was the fourth quarter. Now I'm on a tangent. It was the fourth quarter, and this is your fault, Michael Cooper. It was the fourth quarter. I was so certain we were going to win that game. I had prepared an Amazon cart full of Falcons gear. I had gotten it set up. I was going to give my wife, my 2 sons, I was going to deck them out. This was before I had my daughter. And then the next thing I knew, Tom Brady had the coolest look, down 25 points, and the first touchdown they scored.
I honestly thought you were going to be off the hook. I thought Drake May was going to lead another comeback, so you could be off the hook and it could be Seattle this time.
I wouldn't think that Drake was going to do it. I'm going to throw him the word on most here is that I also am a Patriots fan, but Dre, I didn't say that disrespectful thing to you because I would never wish that kind of pain upon my worst. Actually, no, just kidding. If the Kansas Jayhawks gave up like a 50-point comeback in the national championship game, that would be the greatest day of my life. Oh boy, that would be the greatest thing
No,
ever.
and the
Otherwise,
best part
no one
about it,
deserves that.
the best part about it is that I'm wearing a Julio Jones jersey, and Julio Jones he was just so good in that game, and we denied him that Super Bowl MVP that he was gonna win. And Cooper, I don't even like you right now because Tom Brady looked too cool down 25 effing points. You lucky I don't swear right now because that's what I was doing in the moment. Can we move on because this is just making me sad?
Yeah. Quick thing, because I know this is hoops, but I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you guys see that Tom Brady was considering coming back, and the NFL was like, "Oh, dude, please stop."
Don't.
Please don't.
Yeah, but
Please
anyway,
don't.
Look
we
good
can
in
move
that
on to the
flag
last
football
topic, but I
game.
just saw that the other day.
Yeah, we're going to move on because right now I'm feeling a little fight or flight mode because
I-
Cooper has activated.
Since we went into that, I know this is, we're going off on a tangent now, but what is everyone's worst sports moment that they can remember? I mean, I think Dre, yours is pretty obvious.
Three,
Yeah,
brother.
that
28 to
that one's
3.
pretty easy. I think I don't even know mine. It has to be a tie between the Knights, that 5-minute major. That one hurt pretty bad.
My goodness. I remember that.
Yeah, losing that game, and then Xavier when they were a 1 seed and they lost last second buzzer beater to Wisconsin. I don't think I've ever sat.
Not 2004.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever sat in front of a TV for as long as I did, unable to move. And that one, no, that wasn't 2004. That was like 2017, 2018.
No, I meant 2004 because you're a Yankees fan. So that's not
No,
your
that
worst
one's
one.
up there too. That one's up there too. Trust me.
Did he just bring that up?
And he can. Of course, they were both his fucking teams, so he's allowed
Well,
to.
Now you got people
Well,
cussing. Now
let
you got
me-
people cussing, Cooper. You.
And let me add more fuel onto Cooper's hatred and terrorism fire. For me, so I became a Missouri fan like 2019 because that's when I decided I was attending that school. It's like 2012 Missouri losing to Norfolk State as a number 1 seed or as a number 2 seed doesn't hurt me as much because I didn't experience it. Them Missouri being the worst Power 5 program in NCAA tournament history now, that hurts a lot. But Cooper, the 2013 Cardinals, that collapse, and the 2004 card, which was the one of the Red Sox, 2004 or 2006? When did the Red Sox destroy my Cardinal dreams? 2013.
Which one? 2004 or 13?
13. 13 was the one I remember, and
I think the thing about people forget about the 2004 was the Cardinals were the best team in the NL in 2004, and they just ran into a freight train.
Yeah.
That Red Sox team was not losing the World Series after they came back from 3-0.
No.
Like they just ran into a freight
Damn,
train.
he just keeps on saying it.
I'm sorry,
Just digging the knife.
2013.
Just digging the
That's
knife.
all.
2000 no, I'm not trying to dig the knife, but I think 2013 was the Cardinals were up 3-1, I think. Was it no, it was 2-1
they
and
were
they blew the game 4.
Yeah, it was it still hurts. But hey, are you a Bruins fan? I'm gonna get him back if I can. Are you a Bruins fan?
I think all right, since I haven't said mine, I think
Can I
my
guess yours?
worst
There
fan
has
moment.
to be 2. It's either the David Tyree catch. It has to be either that or, I mean, how's that? That one's kind of hard to beat.
Yeah, the Tyree catch is up there, but I was gonna say I remember going to what was it when the Knights played Montreal in the not the was that the COVID season?
Yeah, that was the bubble year.
And fans just started to come back. Then I went to game 1 and I was drunk and I was yelling that the Knights in 4, Knights in 4, Knights in 4, and they lost 4 straight after that, I think. So I think just personally that was a own moment. My worst sports moment, I mean, nothing's gonna top Luka being traded. I think that killed me.
That hurts.
But I think if we're talking game wise, it's probably that series or the Tyree one. I think I think since we're doing worse, but if I had a favorite, and it's not to pick on either one, so it's not even that. It's probably when I went to Game 5 of the World Series in 18, when watched them clinch.
Yeah,
Because obviously that
that's
was when
pretty
they had
awesome.
Mookie and they won, and
Yeah.
Mookie homered, and David Price and Chris Sale pitched a gem.
Yeah. Yeah. In person, mine is that the divisional round, the Cardinals and the Packers, when Aaron Rodgers threw two 50-yard Hail Marys to tie the game late. And then that crossbody.
You were there for
I was
that?
there for that game.
Ouch.
That was the no. It ended up being the greatest sports moment of my entire life, because that's when Carson Palmer broke out of a sack, threw it all the way across the field. Larry gets it down to the 2-yard line and gets the winning touchdown in overtime. I mean,
The power of the 11.
oh, dude, Larry Fitzgerald, he became the owner of Phoenix that day. We weren't leaving that game like chanting Cardinals. Everyone was chanting Larry. It wasn't about the Cardinals. It was about Larry Fitzgerald, and that was the coolest, to this day, coolest live moment I've ever got to be a part of.
If I have to go for best, I'd vote best childhood in terms of being a Cardinals fan and a Patriots fan. 2011 Cardinals, obviously the David Freese walk-off in Game 6. We will see you tomorrow night, and then them eventually winning. I was at opening day in 2022, what year was it? When Albert Pujols came back to the Cardinals, it was Albert, Yachty, and then Waino starting on the bump. The 2019 Blues Stanley Cup run. Yeah, I would say probably those three. I won't mention 28-3 because that doesn't deserve to be
And see,
mentioned.
the fact that we keep even saying
Also,
it is
I got
like
beat up after that game,
wild
so
to me right
I
now.
just
Like y'all you're just digging the stake, and the knife is in my heart already.
I got beat up after
Oh my
that game, so
gosh.
it's okay. It's okay. I got beat up for my team winning that game, so I promise I paid for it.
I don't think I could speak. I couldn't speak to anyone after that game. It was like my family was asking, Dre, are you okay? And I was just like, no, I'm not. Like we just blew a 25-point lead in a matter of seconds.
It's rough life.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
All right, boys.
That was tough.
What do we got?
I meant to ask before, when we were doing the best and the worst of the NCAA tournament, who would you say the player that improved their NBA draft stock the most would be? And who would you say that the one that dropped their stock a little bit would be?
Darren Peterson dropped his stock.
Did he play bad though, or was Kansas just
No, he
kind
played
of
hella
not
good.
that good?
Nah, I'm capping him right now. He played hella good.
I think Keaton Walker might have improved his stock. I think everyone thought he was really talented, but he's kind of leading a team to like beyond expectations right now. Like there's a stat, by the way, this is a fun stat to go over. I know we're pushing time, but there's a stat that showed after he won last night that he's the 5th freshman to lead his team to Elite 8 or better, leading the team in points and assists ever. Since 1972, when like freshmen weren't allowed to play before then. I was talking to people at the ball last night trying to figure out who the other ones were. The only ideas we had were Russell Westbrook, Magic Johnson, Carmelo Anthony, maybe like rookie Isaiah Thomas, freshman Isaiah Thomas on Indiana. That's it. Like I couldn't think of anybody else. So if you guys know, let me know. But I think that being in that kind of stat category, maybe him, Darius Acuff looked incredible, but he had the defensive issues. I don't know what
I
else
was gonna
to say.
I was gonna say, I think someone whose draft stock might have slipped just a smidgen was Darius Acuff.
Yeah.
As good as he was offensively, man, that effort defensively, it is bright and on tape now, baby. So now everybody knows when you get a little competition, we're not playing SEC schools, we playing big time Arizona. We know what's getting ready to happen. You're gonna score 30 points.
Does Cam Boozer take the number 1 overall pick over DeBonsa? No, still
hell no.
No, but he probably has the highest floor of any of these guys. Of all the guys that's like pretty guaranteed that like they're at least going to be good in the NBA. He might not be an all-star, but good. Cam Boozer looks like he's that guy because he's just too solid.
Yeah, he's just good all around. All around,
yeah.
He's great.
My thing with Boozer is that he kind of shrinks a little bit when he plays against size. When he has different levels of size coming at him. I don't know. In the NBA, I don't think dudes are getting any smaller. And when he did play against size, he did struggle a little bit. I'm not saying he's not good because Boozer is a stud, but he was, dominating against 6'6", 6'7". When you play against kind of a different story, no?
I mean, you can kind of say that for anyone, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everyone's going to
No,
struggle
I
against
can't say
Wemby.
that for everybody. I can't say that about everybody because, AJ Devonta was going against dudes who are 7 feet long and getting double teamed. And he still split the team and got 35 points. Damn near could have scored 40 if the referees had blown the whistle, but they were down by too much.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Devonta, he's the one and only on that team. And on Duke, Boozer has way more options. Like, that's a way more complete team. It doesn't only need to be on Boozer's shoulders. You know what I mean? As to
Yeah,
BYU,
yeah.
it is squarely on Devonta to create and score, and he has to be that guy.
After
Yeah.
Rob Wright got hurt.
Yeah.
After Rob Wright got hurt. If
Right.
they'd have had Rob Wright.
Richie Saunders.
Oh, sorry. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of somebody. I don't know who I'm thinking of. Their BYU second best player. I apologize if I completely butchered his name. I think they would have beat Texas because all BYU needed was 15 more points. Come from somebody, from anybody. And the next best player, I think they got the next highest score. What was it? 6 points?
Something.
I can check that out, but
Yeah, I don't know. Who was the second highest scorer on BYU when they played Texas? IDK. 6 points. I don't know. That's a tough one. But
it was 14
14?
from Robert Wright the third. So the guy you're thinking
That's
of, but 14 and he was 7 of 17, 4 from 3. Like, those are the best. Then the other starters 8, 9, and 5, and 0 points from their bench in the game. So yeah,
You're not going to win any game like that.
No.
Not going to win any game like that.
My point on Cameron Boozer is I would be interested to know how many freshmen have led the country in offensive scoring, in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency.
Probably not many.
He's just
Probably
not
like 2.
Yeah, he's just he's probably not going first, but in that second or third spot where he is going to be taken, I think whatever team gets him is like if the Pacers get Cameron Boozer, because they don't need AJ Devonta. I mean, they could also take AJ Devonta if they get the first pick,
Yeah.
but if they're in the second pick or third pick and they get Cameron Boozer and he plays, if he's able to transition to the NBA, Pacers, I mean, that would be so good. They'll with Halliburton coming back off the injury. I mean,
People sleep on Hallie, man. Hallie's nice. Hallie is nice.
The Pacers were going to win the championship. He was like 3 for 3 from 3 to start that game before he tore his Achilles. So yeah,
I don't know. The Thunder were really clapping that year. I don't know.
He started.
I think they needed every point from Tyrese Halliburton in order to really win that
and
game
they were going
in
to get
Oklahoma. You could have been. You will never know. The world may never know.
May never know.
So, anyway, let's move on to the NBA, and let's talk about the MVP race and the 65 game restriction for guys in that realm. In my personal opinion, with everyone who is qualified, isn't Wemby the obvious choice here?
It's a 3-man race between Shea, Jokic, and Wemby. Wemby's currently leading, I believe.
You got to say that again.
Does Jokic? Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. Did you say Jokic?
Shea, Jokic, and Wemby are basically in a 3-man race. It's going to depend on who misses games at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Did we lose Sam
Wemby's
again?
currently
What did you say?
leading.
I didn't hear what you said.
Me?
Yeah, I just
opinion.
don't see a scenario. I don't see a scenario where Wemby doesn't win this because his impact on the game is so big. And it's just, all they got to do is throw that thing up to the rim. He gets it 90% of the time. And he's going to be averaging 4 to 5 blocks. And he's shooting step back threes. I'm sorry. Wemby is going to be, in 2-3 years, that is going to be Wemby's award until he decides to stop, because I don't know anybody who's stuffing the stat sheet like him. Somebody who I think should be on the list but isn't, Jaylen Brown.
Fair. I mean, how do you not give it to Jokic again, though? You know, he's leading the league in assists. He is
in rebounds.
He's leading it in rebounds, and he's 7th in scoring. I mean, the dude is just the most consistent basketball player, I think, of all time. The most fundamental, and like, we're not even thinking, like you said, Dre, it's Wemby's award until he wants to lose it. You know, the first time he wins, it's his award to lose every single year. But I mean, dude, Jokic, he just goes under the radar and is so good year in and year out. I don't think he's going to win it because he's not as flashy and he's not as exciting as Wemby is this year. But I think he should win it if he doesn't. again.
I think you should be given this
But I
as
think
his
it is going to
last
go to
one
Wemby.
before. I think Jokic should win as he's clearly a top 3 player. And he's in the conversation. We always do this. I understand it's supposed to be just this year. We're constantly doing this thing where we're like, oh, this guy's won it before, so we're not going to give it to him, or oh, we don't want to. If we're having those types of conversations, then it should be
Stupid.
Jokic's. It is stupid, but if we're gonna NBA writers do it anyway, it should be Jokic's last time winning the award, and then it should be between all the new guys in the new generation. I actually think the award that is Wemby's to lose for the next 10 years is not MVP, although it also should be MVP. But I understand why
DPOY,
it's yeah. He shuts down an entire half of the court. It's just gone.
literally.
It does not exist for the other team. They are not able to bring the ball within 10 feet of him.
And when you throw that reverse layup at his face, he's still swatting it back at you. And the only way you're going to beat Wemby is you got to go dunk on him. And who's dunking on Wemby? Just a couple of guys. And they might get lucky because Wemby might take the next one.
He's averaging 3.1 blocks a game. The next closest is averaging less than a whole block a game. It's 1.9.
Insane.
Chet Holmgren averages 1.9.
So if we're talking about where they standing odds right now, Shea's the betting favorite -250 to win MVP. Embiid is +225. Luka is third at +2500, and then Jokic is +6600.
Luka is qualified. He hasn't missed that many games.
Luka qualifies with games, and he's the third favorite betting according to betting odds.
It is hard to ignore. It is hard to ignore what Luka Doncic is doing right now.
Yeah,
he is having that type of run. Do y'all remember James Harden back in Houston?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
2018.
Do you remember James? 35, 35, 37, 50. He's having that type of run. He's literally averaging 40.
So Luka,
and he's putting 40 on everything.
Luka is averaging 33.7 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists a game. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging 39.7 points per game, 8 rebounds, 7.4 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 40% from 3.
So to quote Stephen A. Smith, he's averaging 40.
Yeah, I think there's something going in this whole conversation that we've all had.
I mean, to be fair, we talked about the qualifying thing. You just mentioned the qualifying thing. As of right now, Luka's at 62 games played, so he should qualify.
With how many?
And the name that's gonna get dismissed, he's got 8, 9, 10 games left. How many games left?
Gotta play 30%.
Something like that. Yeah.
Gotta play 3 more games.
Yeah.
But who's
none
also
of us have talked about Shea. I think it says a lot about how Shea has made people feel. Listen, all respect. Don't want to disrespect.
Shea's a baller. He's a hooper.
Baller. He's very good. I just think that the voter fatigue and the player fatigue that comes inevitably with time for almost all players that aren't like Michael Jordan, or like LeBron James, has happened very quickly with Shea. I think there's a certain play style that has contributed to it. I think there are other things that have contributed to it and that aren't his fault. I think just people want to see Wemby or Luka. I think they either want to see a new person win it, or they want to see Jokic get his last one.
I will say, to be fair, if his stats hold, he's going to be the third person ever to average triple-double, because he's averaging 27.9, 12.8, and 10.8 assists a night. He's going to average a triple-double.
Shea or Luka?
Jokic.
Well, no, Jokic
is already. That definitely wasn't Shea.
Jokic has already been he already has the triple-double average. He might have a career triple-double average, damn near.
Yeah, he did it last year. Right? Yeah, it's like he did last year and he's doing it again this year.
His
career is 22, 11, and 8.
Yeah, to Sam's point though, it's kind of just like voter fatigue at this point. Like the NBA writers do like to see. So it's not the MVP of that year. It's like, okay, it's your turn. It's just your turn to win it. That's kind of how the NBA votes almost. Like if you have a good enough year, you're gonna win it, even if you weren't the best player this year. It's kind of how the NBA's always been.
I truly wish the NBA would actually start picking the most valuable player for having them win MVP. What does their team do without him? You know what I'm saying?
So that's the argument. We all think that it's either going to be Shea or Wemby this year. Off that, who is the most?
I
agree. I think it's Jokic.
And then Second, it should be, and I wish the 65 game rule didn't exist. The second person, in my personal opinion, is Cade Cunningham for
But
Detroit.
But is it also not Wemby? I agree. Cade is incredibly important to his team. Wemby is also insanely important to his team. They cannot.
They're still sniffing success without him, though. They have so
Yeah.
many great guards
They
around
have a
him.
great.
I'm not saying they would be second in the West, but what
No.
I am saying is San Antonio would still be very, very, very competitive. And with you take away Cade Cunningham or Nikola Jokic from Denver, absolutely nada. You get
Yeah.
nothing. Detroit is not going to be number one in the freaking East because guess what? They are. And Denver is not going to be as consistent. Yes, they have players still around Jokic, but that is for Jokic, for his being what he needs around him. And you take Jokic away from that equation, Denver's a lottery team. Same with
Yeah.
Detroit. They're in the lottery again this year. But now, thanks to Cade, they are literally first in the East. They are literally first in the East. But I also don't want to see them play Charlotte in the first round. That sounds scary. I don't want no parts of that.
Just a little troll on the opposite side of your point. It's not a serious take, but it kind of is. It's a full conversation if our conversation is who's the most valuable to their team, and that's how we're framing it. Does that discount Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown from ever winning an MVP then? Because
Yes.
it seems pretty cool that it doesn't fucking matter what happens. Joe Mazzulla, and he's going to have a great team built for him by his front office, led by, what's his name? Why am I blanking? The
Brad
best.
Stevens?
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Brad Stevens is going to build somehow a team that's great. Joe Mazzulla is going to play them great. It doesn't matter one of them has to be healthy, but it seems like it doesn't really matter. And they're going to be a top 3 seed in the East. So
The
does
other
this
night they didn't
discount?
have Jaylen Brown and they played and Jason Tatum had 34. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I do think it does discount them from winning MVP, but I think Jaylen Brown deserves a lot of credit this year. He's played some incredible basketball in Jason Tatum's absence. I thought he was truly one of the best players in the NBA. I really was like, dude, that dude is insane.
Yeah.
That dude is insane. He's playing at an elite level. We're just losing Sam again, all left and right. Poor baby. We keep losing Sam, guys. It's his connection out there. He's working on it.
I'm sorry. There's not a lot I can do. We kind of talked about MVP. What do you guys think about for I think defensive player of the year, I think we're all pretty much under the same umbrella of I think we know who should win it. I'm hoping Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. Coach of the year.
Yeah.
Coach of the year for me, I think it has to be Joe Mazzulla.
JJ Redick. And if you want an explanation as to why JJ Redick,
I would, because Joe Mazzulla lost 3 starters and Jason Tatum for the entire year and got second in the East. So
I'm not discrediting that. I don't want to discredit Joe Mazzulla for the job he's done coaching. But can I explain something to you?
Yeah.
This Laker team has no business being number 3 in the West. Are they number 3 in the West still? Am I tripping?
No, they're 3 in the West.
They're number 3 in the West. And JJ Redick, and we can credit Luka all we want to for the last month and a half of his play, but you got to understand the dudes around them have all elevated their game. We even got LeBron James diving on the floor at 41 years old. How a dude is 1,000 years old, should not be diving on the floor. He's going to hurt a hip, break a hip, do something. JJ Redick has got those dudes playing defense. I really, you can discredit the Lakers have zero business. And I don't think they're going to be a huge success in the playoffs. However, because of the coaching job that JJ is doing, how Luka is playing, how LeBron is playing. He's even got DeAndre Ayton playing some damn defense. Jesus. And DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to be anything but Clint Capella, apparently. Like that comment he made was so weird. And it's like, first of all, Clint Capella is the shit. You better back up DeAndre Ayton. You better Kaputski.
He needs to take Derek Sakoff.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like JJ Redick has coached his ass off. So that's why I think JJ should be in that conversation. The Lakers have no business being number 3 in the West.
Yeah.
No business at all. And because that team around Luka and LeBron is not number 3 in the West. And that's the better conference, the West. So I'm here. I hear Joe Mazzulla. I really do. He's an excellent NBA coach. Gosh, he's so good. but it should be Missoula, J.J. Redick, and there's
Jamie
one more I'm
Bickerstaff
spacing.
of the Pistons.
Thank you, J.D. Bickerstaff. Yes.
You know who's done
He's
a good
got that.
job too this year? He won't win it, but Quinn Snyder from the Hawks. I mean, this
Yeah.
year they were written off. They're not even a play-in team. They're on the cuff of not even having to play in the play-in, trading Trae Young, being sellers. Everyone thought that their season was over before it started. And to be sitting firmly in the playoffs, like that is an impressive job that he's done this year.
I couldn't agree more with Quinn Snyder, but them getting Jonathan Kuminga changed everything about that team. It just changed everything because now you have a Swiss Army knife that you could throw in there. He can go get you 25. He can go lock up your best player, and you still have athletic dudes around him. They just need to find, I think Atlanta is missing a little bit more shooting. And once they solve that issue, get them a couple of shooters on that team, I want nothing to do with the Hawks because who's that point guard? Jalen Johnson? Is that his name?
I believe so.
Number 1, Jalen Johnson?
I don't think
Why am I
Jalen Johnson
spacing
plays
on his
point
name?
guard, but I know Jalen Johnson's been their best player. He's not a point guard,
And
though.
it's okay, fair enough. But 6'8", getting to the rim at ease, getting to that jump shot with ease. Now you add in Kuminga, who's coming up in there and just balling out. Shame on the Warriors for how they did him. Shame on them. And they deserve everything that's coming to them.
I don't think it's necessarily the Warriors. Like the Warriors, just like his timeline didn't match up with theirs. Like, yeah, they would have loved to have him, but like, there's nothing that you can do to convince the Golden State Warriors to get out of the Steph Curry business
or the Draymond Green business,
or the Draymond Green
business that they need to get out of before they get out of the Steph business.
I mean, they're doing the thing that, I mean, and I understand it. The Golden State Warriors are more than happy to get the season tickets in to see Steph and Draymond, and they're still both good enough to keep them relatively competitive if they get pieces to fit around them. So I understand why the Warriors
They're just going to be a play-in team forever. They're going to be a play-in team forever. They're not good enough. And if you're bringing in guys like this is no shade. Moses Moody would absolutely cook me on the basketball court. If that's your next best option coming off the bench, I'm sorry, baby. You're going to have a real long ass night. And again, no shade.
All these young, talented, deep teams in the league. Although the league, hey, with the expansion, might be getting a little less deep in general, because some of these teams, Jared McCain's like the full choice point guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
How did they get Jared McCain? Like, dude, how did they get Jared McCain?
They haven't had to use draft capital. They haven't had to spend money. This is what the Thunder are doing now is what the Warriors did when they had their dynasty. They just drafted all the right players. They won on a huge gamble with SGA. No one thought SGA was going to become what he's become. Like nobody, you know what I mean? So it's like they just won the lottery with SGA. They haven't had to send draft picks out to bring in any players.
Then they drafted Jalen Williams. They drafted Chet Holmgren, and unfortunately,
a grown team. And now they have the draft capital and the cap space to just become scary for the next 5 to 6 years.
And not only did they draft well, they brought in players like Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, who are perfect role players for what they're trying to do. They knew exactly what they wanted that offseason. They went and got players. The 76ers inexplicably midseason this year, not inexplicably, but like kind of, give them Jared McCain on a shitty trade.
I don't want to talk about them.
The 76ers are just the worst. That Clippers trade that gave them Shea and gave them Jalen Williams, one of their other starters, looking like one of the more bad trades in NBA history in hindsight. Yeah, it's just all these teams are so deep and so good. The Spurs, the Thunder, that I do agree on your Lakers take. The Lakers are not the same as those teams. But with the expansion, I'm hoping that it kind of diversifies because, man, oh man, there's just so much depth on some of these teams and so many good players. Do we have any other NBA award that we really, really want to talk about that much, aside from MVP and Defensive Player of the Year? Like comeback, is it most improved in the NBA, not comeback player? And then like Sixth Man of the Year, I'm not too well versed in that, unless you guys want to discuss them.
I'm not entirely well versed in the Sixth Man of the Year award, that's for sure. I know most of the team's roster. I don't even know who's the best sixth man this year.
It's probably somebody on like this one of the top.
Boston?
Like
So
you can have,
So if we're looking at betting odds, Keldon Johnson from the Spurs is the favorite at -115.
I'm cool with that.
Jaime Jaquez from the Heat +270. Reed Shepherd from the Rockets +650. Then Naz Reid at 8-1.
Hey, I would smack a little money on Naz Reid. He's balling this year for Minnesota. He's been absolutely balling. And all Anthony Edwards has needed was somebody to go along that train with him, because we all know when the playoffs start, Anthony Edwards is going to be ready and he's going to play.
This late in the year, though, give me the nice Keldon Johnson at -115.
Spurs are nice
hammering
and
that.
Spurs are nice and deep.
Yeah,
They
Spurs
make
are
sense that
deep.
Keldon Johnson's there. Yeah.
yeah.
Spurs are deep.
What about most improved? It's probably like, I think I was reading on this earlier. I think Jalen Duran, because like he got made an all-star. He made an all-star team this year. He's really been what the Pistons also needed. He's been there.
He's their inside presence, man. He gives them that tough guy, Detroit style, like almost Dennis Rodman like type of feel.
Yeah.
So right now it's Jalen Duren -130. Nikhil Alexander Walker from the Hawks +135. Any Advinja from
the Warriors.
From the Blazers.
Blazers.
+600. Those are the only ones under anything in the realm. There is a long shot of Jalen Johnson, who's fourth at +3,500.
Nah, the way Jalen Duren's been playing, he's gonna win that award, no doubt. He's become a 20-10 guy.
I wouldn't be surprised if it went to Alexander Walker, though. Alexander Walker's having a really good year, and I think, Dre, that's who you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Not
Nikhil
Jalen
Alexander, yes, that's him.
Alexander
Nikhil
Walker.
Alexander Walker. Isn't that Shea's cousin or something like that?
Shea's cousin, yeah.
So, he's a baller, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
Alexander,
but that award should go to Jalen Duren.
Alexander Walker Alexander Walker averaged 9.4 points per game last year and 25 minutes a game. This year, as a starter for Atlanta, he's averaging 20.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists a game.
That's insane. You up your scoring. Can you look up Jalen Duren? What did he do last year?
Jalen Duren.
Because the proof is in the pudding right there with Nikhil Alexander Walker.
I'll go for him for this how hard he played in the All-Star game, honestly.
Jalen Duren averaged 11 points and 10.3 rebounds last year. This year, he's averaging 19.3 points and 10.6 rebounds a game. So if you technically want to go off the biggest jump, it's
Nikhil
Alexander Walker. But they'll probably give it to Duren because he's on the best team in the
All-Star game.
Yeah, and what team is having more success? And Detroit's having a lot of success this year. So I think that award is kind of baked in itself, and we're going to just give that to Jalen Duren. But wouldn't be surprised at all if Nikhil Alexander Walker won it. That's awesome. Can you imagine if Shea wins MVP and Nikhil Alexander Walker wins, most improved player? What a family photo that would be. What a family photo.
Have we not talked about Con Knipple taking over the betting favorite to win Rookie of the Year over Cooper Flagg?
What we've not talked about in this podcast. We talked about how Duke lost with both of them on the roster somehow, but
as of right now,
I'm shooting a solid 50%.
As of right now, Con Knipples -210 to win Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flagg's +160.
I mean,
on FanDuel.
Con has turned around the Hornets. They've just been a laughing stock for the last 10 to 15 years. I mean, when's the last time
the Hornets and pieces just came together finally?
Yeah,
the Hornets finally got the pieces to come together and actually start playing some ball.
I mean, the Hornets are playing great as well, but Con's averaging 18.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 43.3% from 3.
That's
Cooper
insane,
Flagg,
my dude.
Which I think is going to come down, just like most improved, is going to come down to team success, and the Hornets are going to make the playoffs. But Cooper Flagg in 62 games, averaging 20 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 4.6 assists a game. So not really much better numbers. And Con Knipple shoots the ball much better than Cooper Flagg does.
Yeah.
Boy, Con shoots the piss out of that ball.
And his usage rate is less because like Mark was saying, the Hornets have been.
It's funny to me though. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about. How did that team not win a national championship last year?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't know. They simply don't understand. But the Hornets are a laughing stock. But like we kind of said, they had pieces like Brandon Miller looked decent. LaMelo Ball, after all the memes, like he's been a good NBA player. I won't get into Miles Bridges.
Yeah, like
Knipple, I think was just the last piece that they needed to cement that backcourt. And then I like
They needed a shooter.
I like Ryan Kalkbrenner coming off the bench. I liked him in college. I think his length is really good. I like that he can step out and shoot a little. I think they finally got a draft where they picked up a really, really high level all-star level piece and then a really good backup piece, and they finally were able to put it together. And so I'm glad to see, because boy, that franchise was not looking good.
They're going to be dangerous, man, in the playoffs. They're going to have nothing to lose. They're going to be playing.
They're playing with house money.
They are going to be dangerous.
Playing with house money. Like I said, those pieces are finally coming together. Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, Knipple. Then you add in the jankiest hooper in the league, LaMelo Ball. That is to me, that's the one that makes everything go. LaMelo is the jankiest hooper I've ever seen, but he's also one of the smoothest hoopers I've ever seen. If that makes any sense.
I kind of love watching LaMelo Ball. I'm not gonna lie.
I said on our show, the Hornets get the 8th seed and the Pistons don't have Cade. The Hornets are beating Cadeless Pistons team.
I agree.
I want nothing to do with the Hornets if they have that 8.
If Cade plays in that series, I would have a different opinion. But if he does not, and he doesn't recover from that collapsed lung he has right now, the Hornets are probably winning that series at maybe 5 or 6. So like, I don't. That Pistons team is good, but without Cade, I don't know if they can stop that firepower.
Yeah, that's a lot of firepower coming at them, man. And if they have Cade, they beat them in 6, and that's just what it is. But without Cade Cunningham, nobody to really check LaMelo and get him in. Look, I want nothing to do with Knipple. The dude, it's like if he shoots it, it's going in. That's just how it feels. You know what I mean? Brandon Miller is turning into a solid wing player who can go get his own bucket. Miles Bridges is an athletic freak, can go down there and get you a nasty little dunk, but is also willing to play some defense. They literally have the pieces in order for Charlotte. All they need to do is put it right together. And then a Cadeless Pistons team, they're moving on.
Yeah.
And people forget, too, that they picked up Kobe White. They have Colin Sexton. Like, they just have depth everywhere. Like, they are solid, man. They are solid.
And Colin Sexton will get up in your shit and make you feel very uncomfortable. And you got the janky hooper shooting those one-legged threes. I'm sorry. I just want nothing to do with Charlotte right now.
No.
They're playing with house money, nothing to lose. Cadeless Pistons team, they beat them. I'm telling you.
All right, last thing. You guys have to pick your NBA Finals matchup right now. Who's everyone picking?
Wow.
I'll
Celtics,
say
Spurs.
Celtics.
Celtics, Spurs.
Yeah.
I'll go Celtics, Nuggets.
I don't know if Jokic can stop
I'm on the same board
Wemby.
as
Who's
Mark.
stopping
I think it's
Wemby?
Celtics, Nuggets.
Who's stopping Wemby in a 7-game series?
If I got to choose who I would like to win,
I want
I would
7
love to see the
games
Nuggets win.
of Thunder Nuggets like we got last year. And I want them to fight every single game. And I want Lou Dort to get a Draymond suspension. Like, I just want all the drama of a 7-game Thunder Nuggets, whether it's NBA Finals or second round, wherever it comes. I want a 7-game series of that, and I think the winner of that series wins the West and plays Boston. I don't think anybody's stopping Boston out of the West.
The East is
No.
East is kind of fraudulent. I'm sorry. I know we love, Dre, you love the Pistons, but I've watched a few of their games this year, man. They're a little fraudulent in my opinion.
Without Cade Cunningham, absolutely.
Even with Cade, man, I've watched some games.
No.
See, the thing is, they play hard though. At least the Pistons, like, they come out every night with a chip on their shoulder. At least there's that. The problem is some of these other teams, and the entire West seems to do that, and a lot of the league a lot of these young guys seem to really care about actually playing ball every night, which is really nice to see. I think there was a generation of people, guys. I don't want to call them out, but kind of like Kawhi, Kevin Durant, that kind of were iffy on that. These kids give a shit.
Yeah,
they want to play.
They want to play, and so I think that's going to contribute to a good playoff. I think outside of the Celtics, like the Knicks,
fraud.
Yeah, outside of
they
Jalen
just,
Brunson.
now
Cleveland fraud.
but James Harden played decent. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland, made a little run. And I think next year with the Pacers back healthy and possibly with a top pick, maybe they could be back and like be creating a little conversation again. But I think it's basically between the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Thunder for who's going to win the West and the championship, unless the Celtics can challenge them in the finals.
This NBA playoffs is going to be golden because you're going to get a lot of really talented basketball teams coming into this playoffs. You're going to get the Wembys. You're going to have the outside chance of Luka. You're going to have Edwards. You're going to have it all. And when I tell you, even as much as I can't stand Cleveland, James Harden has been playing good, but we all know what happens to James in the playoff game. Ever since he left Houston, he has not been a good playoff player. Ever since he left Houston, it's just not the same. So I agree, Harden is playing good now, but that's his regular season, and the playoffs is much different. They got 7 games. They got 7 games to lock you down.
He'll be requesting a trade mid-playoffs. We all know that.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
He's not far off. He's been in Houston for how long? Way too long.
Daryl Morey's going to find a way to get him back and give him the 7th shot with him, and it's still not going to work out. He's going to be, all of a sudden James Harden next year is going to be on the Heat, and then, and then mid-season he's going to go, back to the Rockets and retire.
Yeah,
I don't know.
People
that
just
guy,
have to stop with that guy, man. He's just not worth the trouble anymore.
Who's the worst homie hopper, Lane Kiffin or James Harden?
James Harden.
Who's the worst what?
Worst homie hopper, Lane Kiffin or James Harden?
James Harden is worse, but the way Lane Kiffin did it, that was brutal.
It's multiple times the
Yeah.
way Lane Kiffin's done it has been rough.
God, to do that to
James
your team
Harden
right before they
moves
go to
teams
the
too much.
freaking playoff, man. That
He
dude's
does.
a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, James is a little bit much for me. And again, no disrespect to his game. When he was in Houston, I don't know a better scorer on the planet than James Harden during that time. The dude was literally, I don't know if it's a travel, but that step back was so unstoppable. But good Lord, when he averaged 40 for that month, it was cinematic. I couldn't take my eyes off of him. And when he almost beat Golden State in that playoff series because Chris Paul got a cramp in his butt or something and decided to sit out Game 7, all they needed was a Chris Paul, and they would have beat them.
Tough.
Yeah.
My last thing before we go, because this is a basketball podcast, we're talking about college coaching. The saga of Will Wade getting fired from LSU for like a cheating or like some sort of scandal, going to McNeese, winning some tournament games, going to NC State, in that he's now left NC State after a year, going back to LSU. What a saga. Let me transfer my hatred that I get. Because I really talk shit on Alabama, and I apologize, Alabama. You maybe didn't deserve that. Let me transition it to LSU's coaching.
They did it.
That they have overall. Will Wade, who had a scandal there, got fired, complete saga to go back, just screwed over NC State, seems like. Lane Kiffin, I think we all know how we all feel about Lane Kiffin and his shit.
Mm-hmm.
What a
And before that, they had, what was their coach before that they fired this year?
Coach O, baby, Ed Orgeron.
No. I love Coach O. Who's the one before this year?
Les Miles.
They're not Les Miles either. Was the coach of Notre Dame where the kid died, and he did the cringe photo shoots where the camera was swirling around him?
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly, yeah. Yeah, the guy from Notre Dame that tried to talk like a Midwesterner and went to LSU for one day and said, "Howdy, y'all.
Yeah.
We're gonna win." That guy, and cherry on top, Kim Mulkey.
Yeah.
They're LSU. You and your coaches, you deserve each other. That's my final thought for the night. You guys, you have fun together. You deserve each other.
You know what?
I want to give one final.
Sean Miller's going to go over there. Sean Miller deserves to be with LSU too. That dude's such a snake.
Toss him over.
I want to give one more shout out to Dan Hurley before we hop off. I just saw this incredible stat. So since 2023, he is 3 Final Fours, 2 titles, 17-1 in the NCAA tournament. His only loss was to the eventual national champion in Florida, and he's also 17 spread.
He's so good.
Jesus.
He's
UConn. I take it back. I'm going to UConn.
Yeah, he's such an ass, but he's so good.
I don't get it, but that's why his coaching style is meant for college
basketball. I just saw another one that said people don't like tough coaching, but he's only lost 20 games in 5 years. Tough coaching wins.
Alex Caravan seems to like tough coaching, so I don't know. I think I'm a supporter of Dan Hurley. I think his antics with his players are much less egregious than how he goes about handling refs and opposing coaches sometimes. But how he handles players, I think, is actually not very bad, and I think he's nowhere near Bob Knight. It's not crazy.
And no one is transferred out of UConn. That lets me know everything I need to know about a coach. If a coach is truly being an ass and treating his players in a bad way, they would transfer and you would see it. But the fact of the matter is, once they go to UConn, they're staying there. And if they stay there, they're successful. And when they're successful, everyone is successful there. So at the end of the day, Hurley's an amazing coach. Antics aside, I don't care. Nobody's leaving the school. If you really cared about his antics, you would leave, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So I digress.
Yeah. All right, boys.
All right.
That was a great show.
Woo!
Indeed.
All right. Until next time, guys, we are going to get up out of here. Hopefully Sam and Cooper go finish their work. Mark and I will be around. We'll all be around here soon. Have a great night. Go Falcons. You didn't have to mention 28-3. You're a jerk, but we're going to move on. Signing off, y'all. Peace.
Enjoy the Final Four, everybody.
See you guys.
See you guys.